WWE is operating on a gold mine right now. And last night was one of the greatest nights in the history of our sport. And as God is my witness, this Bloodline Saga is the best storyline I have ever seen in professional wrestling. I wasn't even a thought in my father's mind when the Mega Powers exploded. I didn't see the American dream go to war with a horseman. And I was too knee-high to a grasshopper to be able to appreciate or remember the Monday Night Wars in real time. But wrestling has always been a huge part of my life, especially the sports entertainment variety. I am blessed and grateful to be alive to experience this right now. Where this goes next, time will tell, but consider me buckled in for a hell of a ride. The main event was Kevin Owens versus the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world, the third installment of these two duking it out at the Royal Rumble for the Universal title. I'd edged their last man standing match 2 years ago as the best match they've ever had together, but this was still pretty damn good. KO knew he was going into this with the entire deck stacked against him, but he gave it everything he had to survive, busting out a frog splash, swanton, and kicking out of 2 spears. There was a moment where KO accidentally nailed the ref Chad Patton, and Roman Reigns would low blow him and call for Sammy to get a steel chair. Sammy's hesitation almost gave KO the win, but Roman Reigns would kick out of the stunner. After this, it just got uncomfortable to watch. Reigns speared Owens through the barricade, and then he just brutalized him by slamming the back of his head into the steel steps twice. One more spear finishes the match, but it wasn't the end of KO, quote unquote, learning a lesson. And here was the true and final test to see if Sami Zayn was really bloodline or not. This was bowling shoe ugly. The Usos started beating the brakes off of KO, hit him with a 1D, and then they positioned him on the bottom turnbuckle just to drape the steel chair around his neck so that Solo could hit the same move that put Riddle on the shelf.
But wait! There's more!
The Usos handcuffed both of Kevin Owens' wrists to the ropes, and then they proceeded to hit legit 12 super kicks to his face. KO at this point was looking damn near lifeless. I think Roman just took things too far. Even so, he was determined to make a statement. Now, with a chair in his hand, he starts his best Godfather impression. I think Booker T said it best on the kickoff show. This was on some real street shit. This was all about Sammy earning his stripes. We trying to change his life, and you trying to hold him back. Sammy tried to prevent Roman from choking Owens in the head with a chair. CTE was the final straw. He told Roman, You're the tribal chief. You're the Universal Champion. This is beneath you. He listens for a moment, hands Sammy the chair, and tells him, hey, you need to do it. There ain't no going back now. Kevin Owens doesn't care about you. He's an anchor. He's been trying to drag you down since day one. Roman said, I care about you. I love you. I'll give you everything. This ring is yours when you're with the Bloodline. Otherwise, you can go home, do jackass shit. But he said, if you want to be with us, this is how it's all got to go down. And the fans were eating every second of this up. And then their mind starts to race and wonder just where my mind went as soon as Roman turned his back on Sammy. But again, he hesitated. He can't bring himself to do it. Roman turns back around and then tells him to pull the trigger. But he still can't do it. He's being forced to choose between the Bloodline and the man he essentially began his career with, his 2 great loves. It's tearing him apart. And when he starts crying, Roman gets upset and starts pie-facing him. And then he gets all up in his face, and then he tells him to stop playing around. This ain't a game. This is my whole life. He gave Sammy one more opportunity in the final test for Sami Zayn. He fails. Ultimately, Sammy does the right thing morally and poetically by slamming Roman in the back with a chair shot. And then Michael Cole says it perfectly. Sammy made his choice, and he's gonna pay. He tries to apologize to Jey Uso before Jimmy nails him with a super kick. Jimmy and Solo just take turns wailing on him. And Jimmy yells at Jey, "This ain't your brother, we are." Roman gets up, he screams at Sammy while all this is going on. "I gave you everything. I gave you the world. And this is how you repay me." But all this is just too much for Jey. He can't bring himself to attack Sammy. And he's just utterly disgusted by how all of this turned out. In an event I'm not sure too many people even saw coming. He leaves the ring. This sends Roman and Jimmy into an even bigger rage. Roman starts battering Sammy, 8 chair shots to the back. He just keeps punching him, and then he rips off the honorary Uso shirt. And then Jimmy hands Roman the lei that they were gonna give him. That was gonna be his reward for passing the test. Drop the honorary, he would have been let into the family. The "fuck you Roman" chants start raining down in the arena, but Roman starts ripping the lei one strand at a time, and then the crowd starts just a booing. Jimmy grabs that torn honorary Uso shirt, he super kicks KO one more time, and then they leave Sammy and KO dead to rights in the middle of the ring. I cannot wait for Monday Night Raw. How many times have we been treated to an angle like that at the end of an already 4-hour plus pay-per-view, and it made us want so much more? Isn't that crazy? Doesn't that feel refreshing? This was not the only great story of the night. At the time, I was shocked that the Men's Rumble opened the show. But in hindsight, that was for the best. There were not really any surprises for the Men's Rumble. Cody's return was already announced way back, and I was fully expecting Booker T, Edge, and Logan Paul to be in the match. So while it would have been nice to see some unexpected entrants in the Men's Rumble, it didn't ruin the match or take anything away from it for me. This year's Rumble was all about great characters and well-crafted stories. You don't let swerves or doing something for the sake of being unpredictable come at the expense of the story you're trying to tell. And sometimes I think as fans, we can let our speculation run wild, let the rumor mill get to us, and then we can get disappointed by when those rumors don't ultimately come to pass. I'm a big MCU fan, and I have been guilty with during Phase 4. See Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. I'm never allowing myself to get bent out of shape like that again. I know a lot of people going into the show wanted to see Sami Zayn win, but you didn't have to conflate his story with a Rumble match. The Bloodline story speaks for itself. Also, you couldn't get The Rock to return in time, but with all due respect, this was Cody's year to win. The prodigal son returning at Mania last year after a 6-year excursion, fighting through a gruesome injury inside hell as a last stand before having to be shelved for 7 months. Triumphantly returning at the number 30 spot and winning the entire Royal Rumble. All for the chance to win the title that eluded his father. This is the stuff of wrestling lore. The origin story for a true bona fide superstar. Just as impressive was another man who broke the all-time record for minutes in the Royal Rumble. The controversially, but ironically, aptly named Iron Man, Gunther. The Intercontinental Champion started at the number 1 spot and lasted for an hour and 11 minutes. Goodness gracious. Number 1 and number 30 being the last 2 competitors in the match. Amazing. And the fact that they had a little competitive one-on-one at the end was something special too. You had some other really cool moments in this match, namely Ricochet and Logan Paul's springboard collision, the Banger Bros going on a 2-man power trip. Brock was a unit as to be expected, but then only to be eliminated by Lashley, lasting in the match for only about 3 minutes, and then just throwing the most dangerous temper tantrum in the world. There's a lot here that I feel like fans, even if they were initially kind of bummed out by the lack of surprises, will be able to appreciate this match as the years come. The Mountain Dew pitch black match. Nobody knew how this was gonna look, but once I saw that it was essentially a neon rave, it was pretty fitting. There's just absolutely no telling where all this Bray Wyatt stuff is gonna go. And I know it isn't for everybody, but you can always expect a spectacle. I don't know what this new iteration of Bray is. Will we ever see the Fiend again, or will we only get this new Uncle Howdy unlocked potential vampire form? Who really knows? But I really wish the match was a tad bit longer. That's my main criticism. I'm fine with Bray looking like a monster, as he should. He didn't need to be losing. But the best part of it all was that post-match horror chase down scene and the visual of Bray Wyatt standing with the Firefly Funhouse puppets on the platform above him, the flames going off, Uncle Howdy taking a dive onto LA Knight. Freaky. I'm not gonna hate on Alexa, but this wasn't Bianca's best opponent. I credit the ladies for working hard. This match felt like it was missing a little something and may have benefited from like a stip as well. It's hard to buy Alexa being able to beat Bianca without a handicap, weapons, or spooky advantage otherwise. This was more about the consequences of her loss and how it can potentially spiral her further into madness. And the vignette of Uncle Howdy mocking Alexa, about her saying that she was in control and she was the new face of evil, all that stuff, was the primary highlight of this. And last but certainly not least, the Women's Royal Rumble match. Everybody knew that this was Rhea Bloody Ripley's year to win as well. And I couldn't have seen anyone else winning the match, not gonna lie. The match began with Rhea and Liv at the number 1 and number 2 spots, respectively, and it ended with Rhea and Liv as the final participants, challenging a little bit of Shawn and Taker at the 2007 Royal Rumble, baby. I think this match was a bit better paced than the men's, in the sense that your major players were not eliminated from the match too early. You had two great surprise entrants with Nia Jax and Chelsea Green, and both I'm so sorry, and both had my favorite eliminations in the match. Nia absolutely getting clobbered by everyone. And then my poor girl Chelsea, she was talking a good game, getting hyped up, the crowd popped for her, but she got thrown out immediately by Rhea. Overall, I was most impressed with Damage Control in this match though. I've been kind of 50-50 on them just because I don't think they have the best chemistry with each other, but they look great. They were dominant for most of the match, and I love seeing the sequence where Becky eliminated Io and Dakota, only for Bayley to eliminate her, and then Liv got the last laugh by eliminating Bayley. And then you also had the anticipated returns of Asuka and Piper Niven. The dew got dropped, and the crazy evil clown Kana came to play. Seeing the final moments come down to the apron with Asuka misting and blinding Liv, but then Rhea took advantage of the chaos, well deserved, and the ladies put in some work. You always know you're going to be in the long haul with these shows having both a men's and a women's Royal Rumble, but the right people won, and I am looking forward to seeing both Cody and Rhea headline WrestleMania. Yes, and I'm going to be there, so I'm hyped as hell. And I could have gone without the glow from Bray's match, and the Bliss and Belair match could have used a little bit more heat. It's just a little bit something else. Hardy's performance was okay. I think the song is a bop, but I know the crowd was tired and the show was already long. You needed a bathroom break somewhere, right? And most importantly, you had the Oscar-worthy performances in the main event. There is nothing better in wrestling right now than the Bloodline Saga. And we are officially about to see Sammy become the babyface that a lot of us have been ready to see on the main roster ever since NXT. The road to WrestleMania is here, and it's gonna be fantastic. What are your thoughts about this show? I would love to hear what you thought about everything. Was the Rumble the right time to split Sammy from the Bloodline? What is next for Jey Uso? And how did you feel about Bray's first match back? Did it work for you? Did you care? Are you done with all of the spooky nonsense? And how did you feel about the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches? If you haven't, please check out that post Royal Rumble press conference, because I think there were some really cool gems and it was pretty insightful. Until next time, my name is Brandon. Thank you so much for watching EK Wrestling. Do good unto others. Make the world a better place. Be the best you can possibly be. We love you. Goodbye and good night. Bang.